Welcome in YouTube. This is Juicy here again with another YouTube video, just talking about Cosmic Crucible with the one, the only mobile gamer. Uh, Bubble, tell us how you're doing.
Cosmic Crucible has been a train wreck for me the last couple of weeks. Well, that's not entirely true. I feel like I get into a rhythm and then I just get beat by efficiency, even if I full clear. And, it's just like finding the right teams to be the most efficient seems to be the name of the game right now.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's been a ton of fun. How do you feel about this overall season? Like the fact that we only have 3 weeks left. We have theory crafting going on. What is your overall thoughts before we begin our video?
Okay. In the past, like a couple months ago, I felt two things: that the seasons were way too long and that the room rules were too prescriptive, where there was only one logical team to put in this room and there was only one logical counter, and it was generally unfun and it was very repetitive. What I'm finding is that the room rules now are less prescriptive, and I'm seeing a lot of variance, seeing a lot of team compositions changing, and just the simple addition of new characters to the game seems to change everything on a week to week basis, and it is a ton more fun. You know what I'm talking about? It's just a lot more fun this way. It's just and 3 weeks from now it's going to change again. So
Yeah,
like if they can change it more frequently and not have these crazy restrictive. And the other thing too is what you talked about it quite a bit. What they did with what the symbiotes and being Sinister Six or whatever the rule is, but basically being able to mix and match with Hive Mind and some of the Sinister Six characters to create crazy team compositions has made Cosmic Crucible insanely more fun and a lot of variation, a lot of creative counters, a lot of creative teams.
yeah. As I totally agree. It's fun that the fact that if you knew at the start of the season I was actually 39 and I'm actually getting my butt kicked. I'm actually at 131. Um, I'm still having fun. I'm still enjoying it. There's been a couple of nights where I've been a little bit more tilted from the punch ups and the teams, and there's some challenging teams out there now with the Black Knight. Um, as you're seeing, I'm dubbing this what we call the big three. There are three tunes that dictate Cosmic Crucible, right? Right now, it's Black Knight, APOC, and Sus. Um, and where you put them determines whether or not you win or lose in CC. Um, how are you experiencing with dealing with Black Knight and different comps and stuff like that?
Okay, so largely I was seeing Black Knight in room 4, and I was seeing pretty much out of time or a combination of out of time with a different fifth. Sometimes I was seeing like Black Knight and Super Scroll in room 4. But what you're doing here in room 4, I have not seen, but what you have described to me, it presents an absolute nightmare in room 4 with Black Knight and Gambit.
Yes. So if you watch some of my videos in the past, you've seen that I've not cleared this room before because of how much damage the double pings. Right. It's gotten to the point where these teams, especially when Extreme and Black Knight get big, it's not even worth trying to one shot it. Um, I have two shotted on my channel. There's a couple of those. Just to give you a hint, it's always just sacking to burn some abilities and then going in and full clearing it. It goes a lot smoother. But considering that a team that needs a sack and then a follow up like Masters of Evil Apocalypse, that's a big deal. Even after a sack, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, it looks like a nightmare, absolute nightmare.
Yeah. So going over some of my defenses so that some of y'all can see. So I have superior. I have S secret defenders, sus, and kingpin. So some people wondering why I have kingpin in here. He's another villain. He has a pre-taunt, so people can't plan on where that pre-taunt comes into the field. To just because placement matters higher up. People plan where do they do each hit after the game fights up here, and so the fact that Kingpin kind of nullifies that or forces Kestrel there, which is somebody who spawns with buffs. Um, have you seen? I mean, you saw this a couple of times. What are your thoughts about Team One?
Team One I've not seen. Basically, I've only come across Super Scroll in room 4, and so what you were talking about at the beginning, the three characters that absolutely matter are going to be Black Knight, Super Scroll, and Apocalypse. Placing Super Scroll in room one creates a bunch of problems where before I was only having to deal with them in room four. And so I could go heavy into one room rather than having to make a decision between one and four. I feel like this would stretch me a lot more thin. Typically, what I was seeing in room one was just some team surrounding Gambit, and pretty much have only been seeing Gambit in room one.
Yeah, and he is still fantastic there. If you're not going to run extreme in four, I think Gambit still belongs in one. It's just the fact that I'm doing that. And there's some validity of SD Noir. He creates a lot of RNG. He's not a. It's just it's funny how that one little Dinky character is still creating, disrupting the meta. Even though he's power crept and everything, he's still just because he goes super fast and he has a Super Scroll S kit. He fits very well onto SD. Um, like I believe you're running that, right?
Yeah, so I've been running an SD Noir in room two, and actually I had uh, two holds last week specifically against Nowhere. And I think what happens is if you are lucky enough for or unlucky enough for Noir to hit the same target as Ms. Marvel Hard Light, it can absolutely cripple the team. And you'll see like a canceled attack, and then they go back in and finish it. So it's kind of like it creates a lot of RNG for sure.
Yeah, I think without Super Scroll, I think that's the best version. Just as my pick. I'm running particular room two, which is just this NA Fury. Um, this is kind of like a filler. So one of the things is because I'm running, I'm pinching them in a couple of spots. This is not one of them. This is just my filler. It takes a decent team, but not an amazing team to beat it. It doesn't need a master key, and so that's kind of where I have there. Infinity Watch has been a pain. They've you've really seen the elevation. Like, what are your thoughts about fighting like Infinity Watch in the last few Crucibles?
Uh,
Um,
okay. So, like in the last 2 weeks, I'm gonna say that half of the matches have come down to problems with Infinity Watch in room three, either on my part or my opponent's part, or efficiency, one person just being more efficient than the other. I feel like you can't go wrong with Infinity Watch in room three. At a minimum, it's just an efficiency sink for your opponent.
yeah,
Where else are you going to use them? Where else are you going to use them?
yeah,
Right? You're not going to use a Infinity Watch on defense, and there's not a lot of better choices in room three, anyways.
yeah. And I heard Superior Six in this room. I think Superior Six still loses to the same counter, so I put them here. Where Infinity Watch, putting them in here just elevates what you need to use to beat them. Um, there you go. That's my hot take. I've seen people lose to it. It's won me Crucibles. It's you know, I've lost to Infinity Watch too. I'm not immune to that one. Um, and then we got ourselves Room Four, as I said before, is kind of the Hunger Down. So have you seen? I mean, I shared with you some of them, but have you? What's your opinion on Full Out of Time? Like, have you seen them on defense yet?
Full out of time. I did not have a hard time against them. I mean, I believe I just go APOC Hive Mind. I think you could probably just do straight Hive Mind, but I've done I did not have a hard time with APOC Hive Mind against Out of Time.
Yeah, it's definitely not a good team. In comparison, we're finding more and more that Black Knight is 90% of the team, 95% of the team. So put him with something better. Put him with your SD. Put him with your extreme. Put him with your superior six. Put him with something that makes your opponent's life a lot more challenging, and completely disrupts their counters that they were going to go into it. Right?
Yep.
Because right when you go into a Black Knight team, just as a theory, you're always fighting a Black Knight team because it's a Black Knight team. So you're always going with the firepower to beat a Black Knight, and I think the rest of the out of time members just aren't in the same caliber of a fight like that. You know, that's just this is how it and so for room five, I went a little mean. I put superior six on defense. Um, if you're watching and you want to copy my defense, my warning is for you is that once you start putting this third team on defense, you're gonna find yourself having to sack rooms. You're gonna have to figure out ways of combining pieces and hybridizing. So if you're liking those 6 for 6, just to warning you that putting those three on defense is gonna force you to have to take at least one loss, are trying to figure out putting pieces together. And if you like that, do that. But if you like to go 6 for 6, this is probably not the defense for you. Just a disclaimer. What are your thoughts about room 5 and room 6?
I feel like you woke up in the morning and chose violets. Oh, well, you turtle, you dirty turtle, you. Yeah, that room is that's kind of ugly right there. There's going to be ways of getting through it, but that is a mess with the revives and it's a big chunk. So I'm just looking at your defense like this, like room 4 is going to be a pain, room 5 is going to be a pain, and room 1's going to be a pain. Room 3 is room 3, and then you gave up on room 2 and 6. That's the way this looks to me, and we'll see how this plays out. Now, my question to you, let's say let's say I didn't have the firepower and the confidence with my offense, and I wanted to save Superior 6 for offense. What would you put in room 5 if you weren't going to do this?
Probably Darkhold or Gamma, because then you put something. You've taken the top tier offensive team, so you can afford to bring back. You can afford to put back something like that, like your Gamma or your Darkhold, or even just popping out your superior. If I was to do anything first, is I would actually go back and I would go to room 1 and I would pull out secret. I would pull out Sus out of the team 1 and I would move him. I would switch out to Noir and keep that other team on, because Sus is probably more of a utility tool on offense. So that's who I would pull first,
Okay.
in my opinion.
You pull Super Scroll before you change this. Got it.
Yeah. All right. One last question. This is going to be a fun one. So we just heard about the Cabal, right?
Yes.
Oh, no, 1 second. I'm getting the defeat screen. We lost our war, sadly. Who is your pick for the villains that would synergize well with pulling it up?
I gotta be frank with you. I haven't thought about it yet. Because I know that there's the full force. You can certainly take in Super Scroll and Apocalypse if you want to use villains. And it's the time the situation that I had. I was playing with the Cabal team was how do I get them to go a little bit faster is what I was trying to do. And so I think Emma would be a good choice for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also, as a last resort would be Kang. Something also I was interested in trying was maybe even trying to sneak Undying on there. Maybe like Hela and but it's a three piece, right? And so zombie Iron Man and Hela,
Mm-hmm.
but the obvious choices would be the Dooms and the Apocalypse and then I know the developers suggested Emma and Omega Red, but I haven't looked at it any further than that.
Yeah, my pick, a sleeper pick, is I think Morgan Le Fay. Her team's kind of dead, but she's not. So that one,
Right.
just a heads up. That's a good tune to toss in there. Trying to think who else. I think Vulture is going to be a nice sneaky pick. If you're not using,
Hmm.
if you're using full Superior 6, you can use Vulture to put those early vulnerables in to cause some problems. Um, but again, we haven't seen the full team yet. But yeah, you definitely hit the nose. The main two are like APOC and Sus, but you don't want to put those on that team. So we're trying to. My initial thought is going to definitely be that Morgan Le Fay, um, getting near that speed that Emma, and
Right.
we're hitting that season where Kang, um, the rest of Masters of Evil is getting a little old in the tooth, but Kang is not. So
Right.
we may be not that far away from where Kang is being removed off of his team and put onto the um, Cabal to make a team work, right? Um,
Right. And I know this is preemptive, but the way that the Cabal team works with the vulnerables and preventing the turn meter gain, you're not going to want to put Super Scroll on defense when that team goes live, like because Super Scroll is all about bonus turn meter, right?
yeah.
And the way that Cabal team works specifically with Iron Patriot is that vulnerables get applied at the beginning of the match, and while they have vulnerables, he's not going to be getting that bonus turn meter. And um, Super Scroll is about bonus turn meter. It's just that simple. And so I don't see Super Scroll being on defense anymore at all.
Yeah. I think that your last little bit is here and now. To enjoy him, I think the ones that are end up on defense probably more likely is going to be APOC and Black Knight. Um, I think Super Scroll, and again, room rules can change everything. Room rules have always
Yeah,
done that. That's the fun
even
part.
APOC, you're not going to want on defense too, because when he does his ultimate and goes into his super basic, right? That's turn meter, right? Which is just not going to happen. He's going to do his
Oof.
super ultimate, and then he's not going to have any turn meter to do his super basic, and you probably can wipe him out before that happens. So I just don't see Apocalypse and Super Scroll specifically being on defense after the full Cabal team is out.
Oh wow, that's amazing. I would have actually messed that one up and went in and tried to use APOC and then not got that second turn and probably died. So thank Mobile Gamer for that. Saved some of y'all's probably some CC losses. Um, anyway,
Maybe, maybe.
maybe. Uh, anyway, I think that's getting close to the end of the video. Well, do you have anything lasting? Any final thoughts before we head out?
I'm loving Cosmic Crucible. Still my favorite game mode. And thank you, Scopely, for shortening the seasons and getting rid of the prescriptive room rules. They were terrible. I love this way better.
Oh yeah, that's they need to make this a thing where they change the season every time they change a patch. It makes this so much better. But yeah, well for y'all, this is the end of the video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. If this video helped you, um, see y'all later. And again, thank you, Mobile Gamer, for visiting us. Bye for now.
Bye for now.